My dad texted me, "We've all decided. Stay out of the family now." I typed back one word, "Understood." Then I pulled my stake out of the new office project. Within 2 days, my mom was crying, my brother was scrambling for lawyers, and the developer messaged me in panic, "Your withdrawal just killed the deal." I couldn't help but smile. I was standing in line at a coffee shop when that message came through. Stay out of the family now. No punctuation at the end, just cut off, like he couldn't even be bothered to finish the thought. It was from my dad. The same man I once pulled out of a $400,000 disaster when his partner vanished with the payroll. The same man who hugged me, eyes wet, like I'd saved his entire life. And now, apparently, I wasn't even family. I just stared at the screen. People behind me were getting restless, but I didn't move. After a pause, I typed back, "Understood." Put the phone away, ordered my coffee, and walked out without waiting for it. Something shifted inside me. Not like being punched. More like a switch, flipped quietly, permanently. Driving home, I didn't play music. Just listened to my own breath while my mind replayed the last few weeks. Alyssa, my younger sister, had been slinking her way into the business ever since she returned from San Diego. Suddenly she had ideas. Suddenly she deserved a seat at the table, not earned, inherited. And clearly, she got what she wanted. What they didn't know was I'd already seen this coming. She wasn't smart, just reckless. Months ago she'd started questioning my authority in meetings. Why does Evelyn always get the final say? Shouldn't we modernize how we vote on decisions? Sounded democratic. Really, it was a setup. What they didn't realize was I held the biggest private stake in the new office build, not just money, but the engineering sign-off. Without me, their permits were worthless paper. So, when I pulled into my driveway, I called my advisor, Mark. Get everything out of the West Side project. Move it into Midtown. Do it now. By that evening, the wires were moving. Within 48 hours, the site shut down. Crews sent home. Bank pulled the loan. Permits expired. And just like that, my father's legacy project was dead in the water. That night my mom came to my condo. I watched her stand at the door on my security feed, waiting. I never opened. She left after 10 minutes. Later she texted, "I don't know what you're doing, but you're hurting everyone." I ignored it. The next morning, my brother Andrew blew up my phone, half gibberish, half rage. Finally, one clear message, "Alyssa showed us your text. We know you plan to cut us out once the building opened." I froze. Because I never sent that message. That's when it hit me, she faked it. Alyssa had fabricated a screenshot. And they all believed her. No one even asked me. No one checked. Later, the lead developer Dan Myers, someone I once vacationed with, sent me a desperate note, "Your exit just killed our funding. The anchor tenant is pulling out." I let an hour pass before replying. My father said I should stay out of the family. So I did. No emojis. No punctuation. Just facts. And with that, silence. Not angry silence. Something heavier. The kind of quiet that feels like a room has been emptied and no one even shut the door. Group chat, gone. Emails, gone. Calls, nothing. It was like I'd been erased. Fine by me. That gave me time. I met with my lawyer, someone far outside the family circle. Showed her everything, the text, the fake message, the ownership structure. She nodded. Legally, I was clean. Emotionally, they were ruined. My exit had set off a chain reaction. The bank froze funding. Early tenants walked. And since the rest of the family had tied up other assets to cover their side, they were now dangerously exposed. That weekend, I heard Dad had flown to Miami, begging private equity for a last-minute bailout. Ugly terms, no doubt. I didn't interfere. Instead, I went for his pride. His entire reputation was built on the story of our family firm, the visionary builders, the trusted partners, the people who shaped cities. So I called an old college friend who now worked in journalism. I pitched him one line: what happens when a family business turns on itself in the middle of a $50 million development? He loved it. The piece ran a few days later. No names, just facts, but anyone in our world knew exactly who it was about. It spread like wildfire. Investors canceled meetings. Andrew's side deals collapsed. Alyssa vanished from Instagram, her biggest tell of all. Then my mom left me a voicemail. Evelyn, I don't know what you think happened, but this isn't how to fix it. Your dad was just trying to protect the business. We're your family. That word, protect. From what? I did a reverse image search on the screenshot. 5 minutes later, I found the original source, a Reddit thread from years ago. Same layout. Different names. Alyssa had copied, pasted, edited. A fraud. I still said nothing. Instead, I made another move. I met the anchor tenant, the one they just lost. Showed them my Midtown project. Better amenities, stronger finances, discount for the first 5 years. They signed a letter of intent on the spot. I had it delivered to Dan Myers. No note attached. He'd understand. The project they thought they stole from me, I rebuilt it, stronger, without them. Still no apology from Dad. No word at all. They wanted me out of the family. So I stayed out. And only now were they starting to realize the cost. 3 weeks later, their crown jewel was nothing but an empty lot behind a rusting fence. The project board half faded in the sun, flapping in the wind. Andrew scrambled to salvage it, calling private investors, trying to repackage the deal. But the whispers were already out: fractured family, unstable firm. Nobody wanted to touch it. Alyssa went silent. No selfies, no fake hustle posts. Even stopped answering internal firm emails. Until Denise, the accountant, called me one night. Said Alyssa had drained a discretionary account for her Mexico trip and a stack of networking dinners. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. I just kept building. Picked up a narrow lot next to Midtown, a dead laundromat nobody wanted because of zoning. Overpaid for it, pushed it through, then grabbed a second permit. With both lots, my tower tripled in size. Theirs collapsed. Mine grew. A week later, I attended a charity gala. My parents were there, of course. I hadn't planned to go, but I knew it would sting. My dad saw me first. He was mid-conversation with city officials, drink in hand, laughing too loud. The second his eyes hit me, silence. No wave. No smile. Just a stare. Mom came over later, her expression cracking under perfect makeup. She whispered, "This isn't how it was supposed to happen. Your father was just trying to protect what we built." Protect. Always protect the business. Never me. They didn't even ask if Alyssa's proof was real. Didn't verify. Didn't hesitate. One fake screenshot, and I was the enemy. I walked away. Said nothing. The next morning, Dan Myers texted me directly, "You're rebuilding it, aren't you? Midtown." We saw the permits. He was right. I didn't reply right away. Another message followed. "Your mom's crushed. Andrew's scrambling for lawyers. Alyssa's vanished. You've made your point. Tell me what you want." I stared at it for a while. What did I want? Honestly, I just wanted one of them, any of them, to come to me and ask, "Did you really say that? Were you actually planning to take over the business?" But they never did. They cut me out without hesitation, built a lie around me, and expected me to fade quietly. That's when I decided it was time to collect. Later that afternoon, I drove to Alyssa's place. Her Audi Q5 was parked in the driveway, the same one I'd bought her 6 months earlier after she complained her old car was too cheap. Title still in my name. Spare key still on my ring. I didn't knock. Didn't warn her. Just unlocked it, started the engine, and backed out. Because it wasn't hers, it was mine. She came running out in slippers, shouting things I didn't bother catching. I never slowed down. Never looked back. An hour later, she texted. Seriously? You're taking the car back? My reply was one line. You forged messages to get me cut out of my family. So yes, I'm taking the car back. Silence. No response. Not even those little typing dots. By Sunday, I got a call from Travis, the junior partner who paid more attention than most. He told me Alyssa had moved back home, to the same house that didn't have room for me just weeks earlier. I sat with that for a while. The irony. They had let me go without a single question, and now she was back under their roof. Truth has a way of catching up. It broke on a Thursday. I wasn't there, but the fallout reached me before sunset. 3 missed calls from my mom, unusual. Then a text. Please. It's not what we thought. Can you come by? I stayed put. At my desk. In the Midtown office they swore I had no part in. 10 minutes later, Andrew called. His first direct call since everything imploded. His words were short. She slipped. Dad heard it himself. That got my attention. An hour later, I was back in the driveway of the house I grew up in. Same porch. Same windows. But everything felt different. Dad opened the door. No smug grin this time, no lecture, just a nod. He stepped aside. The living room was still. My mom on the couch, hands tight in her lap. Alyssa wasn't anywhere in sight. Then Dad said it. She admitted it. The screenshot was fake. He didn't look at me while saying it. Just stared ahead, voice flat, like each word scraped its way out. Apparently, they'd argued earlier about the car, her role, control of the business. She got heated, slipped, and blurted out, she wouldn't have walked away if you hadn't believed the message I made up. She'd confessed everything. Mom cried. Dad didn't. He just turned to me and asked, why didn't you say something? I shrugged. Would you have believed me? No answer. Just silence. For once, I didn't feel like the outsider. I felt like the only adult in the room. They apologized, not grand or dramatic, just quiet, tired, real. My mom said it seemed believable. Alyssa's fake texts, her trembling voice, they bought it. They convinced themselves I was the threat. I told them it didn't matter anymore. Midtown was moving forward. The tenants were signing. The funding was solid. I didn't need their approval. Then came the curveball. Dad said he wanted me back. That Alyssa was done. That he'd made a mistake. I told him I'd think about it. And I did, but only for a weekend. Then I agreed under one condition, I'd have complete control of every financial decision for the next 2 years. No votes. No vetoes. Just me. They signed off. And just like that, the business started breathing again. My name back on contracts, banks calling again, investors returning. Alyssa? She was unraveling. Apartment gone. Car gone. Sponsorships gone. Back in her childhood room while my parents finally stopped shielding her. She demanded the villa Dad once promised her, a Carolina beach house that was supposed to be hers after the office project finished. He revoked it. Put it on the market. She found out from the realtor. The collapse was complete. But the story didn't end there. Weeks later, I was at my parents' house retrieving old files. As I walked in, I heard Alyssa upstairs yelling, "I'm not folding laundry, I'm not the maid." My mom's voice followed, calmer. "Then maybe it's time you started acting like a daughter again." That said it all. She wasn't living in comfort anymore. She was living in consequence. At dinner, Dad asked her to help with dishes. She stared at him like he'd asked her to scrub the driveway with a toothbrush. Mom slid her a dish towel. Alyssa washed in silence. I almost laughed. I didn't. The next morning, she stopped me in the hallway. "I'm not your enemy," she said. "You acted like one." "I made a mistake." "No, you made a move." She swallowed hard. Tears pressed at the edges but didn't fall. "I want to come back to the business. I just need a second chance." I looked at her. No act this time. She was tired. Deflated. Not broken yet, but close. "There's an open spot in the internship program," I said. "Entry level. Admin support, $17 an hour." Her jaw dropped. "You want me to be an intern?" "No. I want you to learn how to be useful." She stormed off. 2 days later, her application landed on HR's desk. That Sunday, Mom texted me. "Thank you. She needs this." I didn't reply. But I did make sure she reported directly to Tasha, the manager she once mocked as a glorified secretary. Poetic justice. 3 weeks in, Alyssa was a shadow of her old self. No heels, no luxury bags, no filters for Instagram. Just flats, plain blouses, and an ID badge clipped awkwardly to her purse. She kept her head down. Tasha kept her busy. And, for the first time, Alyssa didn't complain. Not even after redoing an entire project because she used the wrong format. She was learning. Slowly. Painfully. Publicly. But there was still one thing she hadn't done. She hadn't owned it. That part was still waiting.